I'm ready for it.
Okay.
I want to see Matt.
You're ready? Pete, you're ready?
Whatever his name is, go bad.
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith, do bad things.
Hey there, Thronies. We are now on to episode 3 of House of Dragon, entitled The Second of His Name. Or Second of His Name, or something to that effect. Anyways, we're just going to crack on.
Oh, I feel really bad. I've been calling him Paddy Constantine and it's Considine.
Just realised we've been forgetting to actually introduce ourselves. Oh, no big deal.
Sure, a little
we can
name
do it
pop up
after.
would.
Yeah, I'll do a little.
Our loyal viewer has probably...
One viewer.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows what's going on.
They.
One viewer. One viewer.
Our one viewer is they know who we are. For it is us in rotation. We take it in turns watching the episode. I like this. We can spend the introduction like self-owning and self-burning.
A lot of blood being poured into that dragon. Okay, burning of the boats.
Someone left the oven on again.
These look like the pirates, though.
This is our crap king guy.
No! Tell you what though, I'm absolutely craving a crab sandwich now.
Crab shack.
Anyone for seafood? What?
Oh, he comes, Matt Smith.
My friend! Save me! Oh, he saved him, alright? He saved him from the slow and painful death by Mr.
So this is
Pinchy.
ultimately how he's won the favour of men, because he controls a dragon, right?
That's what we call broiling.
I mean, he's a proper dragon, isn't he? Like, I mean, long neck, just like everything's horrible about him. He's just.
Canabria! Where are you?
The fire.
Yeah. They're all pretty fucked now.
He has your eyes, your grace.
Yes, he does.
He may yet, brother, but this morning he
So he moves
insisted
ahead
on
2
eating
more years.
porridge with his hands.
And surely by the end of this hunt, we shall have more to celebrate.
And what is that, pray tell?
It is Aegon's second name day. It only remains for Viserys to name him heir to the throne.
I wouldn't be so sure.
The matter of the stepstones is regrettably urgent.
It's been 3 years. It can wait another 3 days.
Where's Rhaenyra?
Cannot be sure at present, Your Grace.
The Velaryon forces have suffered heavy attrition, Your Grace.
Can someone tell me where in the seven hells Rhaenyra might be?
Her heart broken for those. Your Grace.
Did I say to stop?
I knew it was him. I just they've only let him do a bit part, haven't they? Ramsay Bolton.
Your presence is wanted in the outer courtyard. The royal hunt ready to depart.
Decided to remain here and read instead.
The king wishes for you to join us.
The king has much to celebrate. He does not need me.
He wants for us all to be together.
The whole of our family off to celebration and adventure in the King's Wood.
Should you be travelling in such...
Well, you will be with your own child sooner than later. And make me a proud grandsire. You should ride out with me today. Join in the chase.
Rather not.
It's a hunt, Rhaenyra. How would you like to participate?
I'm not sure why I must.
Because you are my daughter.
I wonder how many actors they went through before they found her to play the princess, because she's very watchable. She's very sort of believable.
I'm thinking at least one other.
Yeah. Is that dude Coltrane? He's the guy that got stabbed or squashed? No. The guy that's limping there with the foot.
No.
Is he the guy that got squashed? He's dead. He's dead.
No, that's different. The guy that got squashed, I think he's dead.
I fear the gods did not make me for hunting. Might I sit with you, my ladies?
Perhaps the princess can give us some insight.
I wouldn't know. I've not spoken to Daemon in years.
Since you supplanted him as heir. Though your father refuses to admit it, we've been dragged into it by your uncle and the sea snake.
And how have you served the man with late Lady Red Wine by eating cake?
Lord Jason Lannister.
Gathered that from all the lions.
The finest honeyed wine you'll ever taste. Made in Lannisport, of course.
Of course.
It's been said that if one were to stand in the tower, on a perfect day, one could see clear across the sunset sea. I do have the means and resources to build one.
Why would you need a dragon pit?
To house dragons, of course. I'd do anything for my queen.
Thank you for the wine.
She swipes left.
Yeah, I was literally about to say this is like...
That is what we call a swing and a miss.
Is that what I am to you? A prize to proffer about to the great houses.
Jason Lannister is an excellent match.
He's arrogant and self-serious.
Well, I thought you might have that in common. I've been slowly drowning in a lake of parchment flung from every corner of the realm. Marriage proposals all. And I have tried, often, to discuss it with you.
It's because I do not wish to get married.
Even I do not exist above tradition and duty, Rhaenyra.
Excuse me, Your Grace.
You must marry.
The Royal Huntsman has sent a report, Your Grace. There's been a sighting of a white hart.
So we've got to go chase the stag, huh?
Yeah, she is. I mean, yeah, they are.
So that's Coltrane, isn't it? That's, yeah.
Princess, wait!
Christ, I can't imagine riding a horse and plate up. And she's like stealthy, and then he's just like tonk, tonk, tonk.
Rattle, rattle.
Horse is just like motherfucker.
What happened back there?
My father trying to sell me off to Jason Lannister. It's a beautiful day. We should take in the Kingswood. Were you ever betrothed to Kristen?
I had an adventurous youth when my father served at Blackhaven, to be sure. Many in the realm would gladly trade positions with you, Princess.
Only because none of them has ever held my position.
Still fresh.
Between 2 and 3 hours, Your Grace. My best scout spy.
Lovely.
The beast is upward of 35 stone, and we now have his trail.
I've never been one for signs of importance, Your Grace, but if the gods did wish to show their favor...
Why can't I help but feel like he's he's planted the stag there? I mean, I know he wouldn't be able to do that, but...
Your Grace. I had this forged in the Golden Gallery in honor of Prince Aegon.
It's quite a thing.
I hope it might provide the killing stroke against your white heart.
Thank you for your generosity.
I would be honored to take the Princess Rhaenyra to wife, Your Grace.
Do you think that House Targaryen wants for strength?
Castle Rock is a splendid seat. Rhaenyra may take her place there by my side without shame, if you were to name young Aegon heir, Your Grace.
And when would I be doing that?
Many of us had assumed...
Many of us, you say? Have your bannermen questioned my choice of heir?
Your Grace,
I did not decide to name Rhaenyra my heir on a whim. Thank you for the gift.
Your Grace.
He's turning into a proper good king.
Wine.
Oh, I mean, a drunk king.
Yeah, after a couple of wines.
Classic king.
But you can just see how it's always such a struggle to maintain that ethics.
Just keeps, just years of being pushed and pulled has turned him into this, well, basically just another Robert Baratheon.
She'll do as you command.
It is not my wish to command her, Otto. I want her to be happy. Who do you have in mind?
Prince Aegon.
Yes, but it would cease the endless...
It is crazy, the world he's caught in. Like, I mean, I know they're trying to make a point. Like, he's trapped in this insane cesspool of just politics and backstabbing. Yeah, I mean, just...
Yeah, we've all been that type of drunk, haven't we?
What, the type of drunk where you're considering marrying off your daughter to a 2-year-old?
Happens all the time.
And he's
your 2-year-old son.
And he's carrying.
That's what happens when you drink Jägermeister.
The girl is a heedless contrarian. If I instead forbade her to wed a Lannister, she would have run off with Lord Jason out of spite.
King Jaehaerys ruled over half a century of peace while his children drove him to the edge of madness. Do you wish to hear my opinion on the matter?
You believe that your son, Sir Harwin Breakbones, is the best match for Rhaenyra?
You flatter me, Your Grace, but no. It would seem to me the best match for Rhaenyra is the son of the Sea Snake, Sir Laenor. Laenor is of pure Valyrian descent. He shares blood with your cousin, the Princess Rhaenys, and he is the heir to the wealthiest house in the realm.
I hope she's not drinking wine when she's that pregnant.
They probably didn't care.
Yeah, I was going to say it's...
Princess, I must make a final plea that we return to the camp.
I'd rather prefer it here. Do you think the realm will ever accept me as their queen?
I'll have no choice but to, Princess.
Pumbaa's angry.
Pumbaa. You're going to be having that on the fire in a minute.
That's
Should
one
say
way.
ham.
That's one way to tenderise the meat.
Oh,
Ham.
Is it ham?
Is
No.
now. Yeah. Tenderising the bacon for breakfast.
Sizzling.
I named her to protect the realm from Daemon. Many in my line being dragon riders. I saw it in a dream. As vivid as these flames, I saw it. My obsession killed Rhaenyra's mother.
Viserys.
You know he's drinking crap booze because the flame didn't go when he did it.
True.
What's that horn about then?
You may not be white, Your Grace. Thing's a big lad.
Your Grace. For the kill.
I thought they were after the white stag.
Well, they were.
Why do they have to kill this one?
This is a hunt.
They couldn't find the white one.
Oh man. He's just like, no, I don't have to go out this way.
There's something about this. It's a bit like fortuitous. Like there's something about the stag being innocent, not deserving, and him having to kill it twice. There's something about.
I feel like they're telling you something about like his choices and what he's having to do.
Yeah, like well, maybe something's about to come. I don't know. Well, obviously, he didn't enjoy it. That's obvious.
I think it's more of a reflection. Because, yeah, really, what did he just do? He just stabbed an animal that was effectively bound.
Yeah.
Missed the first time, got it the second time round. But what did he really display anything? No, he got given everything, and he walked up and did that, fish in a barrel.
And they found the white one.
Y'all ain't killing me. Yeah.
Didn't stop her from bringing home the bacon, though.
Right, yeah.
Did you enjoy the hunt, Your Grace?
Well enough.
When you bore the king a son, you ended 15 years of uncertainty and doubt. You mustn't ignore the certain truth that if Rhaenyra were to step over Aegon to ascend the throne, the realm would tear itself apart.
Rhaenyra would be a good queen.
It wouldn't matter if she were Jaehaerys himself, born again. He's the firstborn son of the king. To deny that he is heir to the throne is to assail the laws of gods and men. You must guide Viserys towards reason. He'll never find it on his own.
I was hoping we might discuss something.
How's his little finger?
I do not think she enjoyed Jason Lannister's company. She is cross.
I warned you that she would be.
Oh, he's missing them.
I do believe that Rhaenyra will marry Your Grace. But she must believe it is her choice to do so.
Did he... So, was this guy ever a dragon rider? Did he ever run...
Yeah.
He did ride a dragon.
Yeah.
Lord Corlys and Prince Daemon are losing their war.
Badly, by all accounts. If I now provide Daemon and Corlys succor, what will that say of their king?
Perhaps that he is a good man who loves his brother.
I'm sending word to Daemon. Aid is sailing to the Stepstones.
Did he make call for help?
He would sooner die. Do you not think my decision correct?
It is no consequence to what I think, as I'm often reminded.
Must everything be a battle?
If you refer to your attempt to marry me off to Casterly Rock,
I am sorry, Rhaenyra. Why must every effort on your behalf be resisted, as if to the death?
because you mean to replace me. You said it yourself. The lords of the realm gather like vultures to a carcass, hoping to feast on my bones.
I do not seek to replace you, child. You must marry. Strengthen your own claim. Shore up your succession. I did waver. At one time. But I swear to you now, on your mother's memory, you will not be supplanted.
So what was going on for the Battle of the Steps?
It's pointless, Father. The crab feeders created a choke point here, beyond these dunes.
The crab feeder and his men have no reason to leave those caves.
We must give them one. An offering of flesh to bait the crab. He, at least, is fighting this war. What role have you played in this council, Uncle, other than master of complaints?
Enough! Blood or no, Vaymond. I will not have you stoke mutiny. If you do not seize control of this war, my lord, the crabs will soon dine on all of us.
Prince Daemon, I bring word from His Grace Viserys Targaryen.
Brother, I have ordered 10 ships and 2,000 men to set sail from King's Landing to join the effort in the Stepstones. I shall pray nightly to the gods for your safe return.
You'd have to be there for a long time for a crab to start eating you. So this is his final... Riding that dragon.
For a dude who took an arrow to the knee, runs pretty well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who is riding that dragon?
Oh, I saw that move in Lord of the Rings.
There you go, it's the kid. The son of Corley.
Oh, because he's got Valyrian blood. So he can ride it. So you have to be a Targaryen to do that.
No, there are people that they have like 50 dragon trainers. They've got people that can ride them, but it's generally kept within the house.
Right.
I think.
His prize. I should carve his torso.
Just fucking yeah. Nice. I think that visual says it all, really.
Right, there we have it. So, thoughts on that episode, Rich?
Yeah, it's alright. It's still not the... I'm glad we got action in episode 3. It's just not the same as the original Game of Thrones. The original was more bloody, visceral, more edge of your seat. This is... I
think what you're... I suppose I'm going to counteract you by saying, I think like we were sort of talking about earlier, I think you're somewhat getting mid-late seasons of Game of Thrones mixed up with season 1 of Game of Thrones, which very little actually happens for most of that first season.
Perhaps. But,
So, Yeah, I get it. But I would say if I compared season 1 to season 1, I think there's more action in this. Way more action than the first season of.
I think the other thing as well is that season 1 Game of Thrones, the twists and the back and the forth. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, when you saw House Stark and Jaime fighting in the street.
Yeah.
You know, it felt more like violent action. More. This is more kind of subtle back and forth.
Yeah.
This is more about the political manipulations that you didn't see in Game of Thrones. Because in Game of Thrones, it was just there were a few things where Baelish was like, "You'll be wrong to trust me," and he was. But it was like that was the only real subtlety you got, and then it was just like
lots of subtlety.
Yeah. But this is more of that. So this is almost like
set up.
This is a long setup for what is eventually the story.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, you almost have to, you know, expect that your action is going to be more plot, not necessarily what you'll see. Although I have to say, the siege of the crab dude's lair and everything, because I was sitting there like thinking, hang on, I remember vaguely how it happened, but then I was like, that's still fucking beast for him to, you know, go in there.
I could go in there on my own and take on an army.
And he by plot armor, he only gets hit by 3 arrows. You know, I thought that was really cool. But yeah, going back to the start, is that it is very subtle, you know, in places, because it's sort of like they're still setting the story, so to speak, but it's.
Yeah, I mean, he reminded me of a bad version of Jon Snow. He just sort of reminds me, like, going in there, doing the job on his own, being the hero, saving the realm from all these pirates. He being covered in blood, and he reminded me of Jon Snow.
Jon Snow, I think Jon Snow has vastly different.
Yeah, but he's got that imagery. He's got that sort of
the
way people are portraying him, like this guy that can do the heroic act sort of thing. But obviously, we know he's got bad intentions. I mean,
well, you call him Jon Snow. He is actually Jon Targaryen.
Jon Targaryen, yeah.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously moved ahead a few years, so things are changing.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry?
So
3 years.
In 2 episodes, like over the course from episode 1 to the end of 3, the storyline has moved on
quite a lot.
Years.
I mean, it does make sense what you say about how season 1 should set up, because we're rapidly going through history and through historical events, setting up characters, setting up their positions, so that season 2 you can take a more slowed down, maybe more intricate, you know, more Game of Thrones style pace with the show. But yeah, I still think the best actor, I still think Matt Smith isn't doing it for me yet, but the guy playing the king, he's incredible.
Oh yeah,
absolutely incredible.
I
just
think
like
he either won an award.
Oh, he has to have won an award. I mean, he just, I mean, he's selling me the whole, you know, story. I mean,
I think the other thing that makes it a bit jarring is the fact that we are going through rapid time skips. It's not, you know, whereas Game of Thrones very much, you do have time skips, but they don't happen this frequently.
No, in fact, I would say, without getting too spoiler on it, there is more time jumps in this than you really saw on Game of Thrones. Because you're right, they're kind of getting you through, almost going, we need to speed run this history to get to the juicy bit.
The DeLorean coming in at some point.
At the same time, you need the history. You need the history to understand, like, how it plays out and why.
The new son that the king's got, Aegon Targaryen, is that the Aegon Targaryen that Game of Thrones 174 years later refers to? Like Jon Snow's great granddad?
Maybe.
Because they keep, you know, that's like the big one, isn't it? Aegon Targaryen.
The thing is, like, but he's Aegon Targaryen, named after another Aegon Targaryen, so the name's used
right
a couple of times.
Second of his name, third of his name.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, you also have in Game of Thrones, you have a Targaryen who is Archmaester Daemon. He is also called Daemon Targaryen, but he's not named after. You know, I guess he's the second of his name, but he's also like 100 years old. So it's like...
so he might have been making it up. He might have been so old.
He said that my house... I stopped being a Targaryen when I joined the Night's Watch.
Oh, yeah, that because he told Jon Snow on the wall, didn't he?
Yeah,
that was such a good bit as well. Such a good reveal. Like, I wasn't always called Maester thingy. I was once called the Targaryen.
He's okay, cool. Overall thoughts on that one, Pete?
I mean, what, the whole episode?
Yeah, well,
yeah, I really enjoyed rewatching it. I generally found that, like you said, the first episode great for Easter eggs, second and third not so much. But I think overall this is what I did like was Daemon's reaction to the King's letter, because he was like, fuck off, we've been fighting this we've been fighting this for 3 years. I realised that I should actually move my microphone. Whoops. Is that, we should have... they've been fighting that war together for the best part of 3 years. Although God knows how they managed to hold out through a sense of caves. And over 3 years, they didn't think, let's just storm the fuckers. You know, it took them 3 years to figure that out, or not do that. But... then the moment the king was like, we're going to come and save you, he's like, nope, fuck you, I'm going to do it.
Well, in fairness, I do think that they kind of set you up for that, because basically the son was saying, look, you know, basically somebody needs to go out there and sort of be the
bait.
The bait to get them out of the caves. And no one's willing to do it because they were like, it's a suicide mission. And then so finally he gets that thing from the king.
Drive to go,
you know what, that's it, enough's enough. I'm going to be the bait.
Only... because... I don't know what angle you're taking on this. Whether you're sort of suggesting that the plot that they were, you know, that the story's trying to tell that they couldn't storm the caves for some unknown reason seems a bit of a weak sort of. I
mean, from like if.
Because I agree with you. I think
because the thing is, I get it. It's like, you know, if they were to send a dragon down there, because that's what happened with Daemon in the first part. You see him get shot with the flaming arrow. Is that the dragon went to blow them out of their caves, and then they got pelted, and then they retreated. They were doing hit and run guerrilla tactics, and if they were to go in and try and charge it as a big group of men, they would be like, we're fighting in confined spaces where they're probably better. Like, tactically, it doesn't make sense. But it's just the fact that the apparent call to arms, or the call to action to finally do what is needed, happens 3 years after they have presumably started that war. And
do you think they'd come up with some other tactics in that
time?
time?
Does that Hail Mary move in a what I consider to be a fuck you, you're not getting the glory, because he knows that the king is doing this as a means to either make reconciliations with the court, with Corlys and co. But he's just like, no, I've spent 3 years trying to make this happen, and now you want to come and take it away from me, because he even assaulted his own guard. Like, the guy gave him the letter and he fucking kicked the crap out of him.
Yeah, of course he did, because he's angry.
It's like, this is Daemon's chaotic nature, as in, he's just like, he clearly would risk his life to do that, because he would not want to see his brother get the glory.
Yeah.
But my biggest issue is that just before the letter rose, the Valerian family are arguing, like saying, we would have won this war if it wasn't for Daemon Targaryen screwing it up all the time, and he's whatever they're saying, but basically blaming on him. And then 2 minutes later, after his letter, he ends up winning the war, and I'm thinking, really, like, you're telling me he didn't try other things? Like, they just kept on flying around that dragon for 3 years. It's a bit far fetched. It's a bit.
Well, no, I'm assuming they did try other things, but like with anything, arguably, you put it as you say, it's far fetched, but we can literally look to real life for the exact same thing from the Vietnam War. America went into the Vietnam, guerrilla warfare tactics. They could not get them out. They could not win it. They actually lost when they had the greater forces, the greater number, and the greater equipment because of guerrilla warfare. They couldn't handle it, and this is the exact same thing. They can't deal with them because they're like, it's guerrilla warfare. They're sneaking off into caves. We can't get to them. You go into the caves. The problem is when if they go into the caves to get them, open up to traps, open up to not being able to find spaces. It's all on the other team's turf.
Yeah, no, I guess so. I guess. Yeah, I mean, you forget obviously he's waving a white flag. I mean, basically, tricking them into submission.
The only reason they even came out, they wouldn't come out for anyone else.
Yeah,
they've come out because the commander.
It's sort of tricking them.
That's why I buy it as a thing. It's like they've been fighting this back and forth. We haven't been able to do it, and the only way to actually draw them out into a position where we can get them is to literally put our big gun on the table and go, come get it.
Vulnerable. But I did like the fact that their tactic, their fight style was crab-like. Come out the shell, back in the shell.
Yeah.
But I think that was subtly clever. I like that. But yeah, good. You know, not bad fight scene. Again, the dragons just look incredible. I mean, they mastered the art of landscaping those dragons in whatever season in Game of Thrones. I mean, when you see them sweep across the fire and everything, and it's just amazing. There's nothing better than that.
I think the fight, because let's face it, we've been waiting for a bit of action to happen.
Yeah,
we've wanted to see some shit get fucked up. It's House of Dragons. This is what we're here for, because Game of Thrones got good when there were dragons involved. Yeah, you look towards like the end of season 9 of Game of Thrones, was it? 9. Well, 8 or 9 when you saw dragons properly. People liked those episodes. They were generally quite cool.
I'm pretty confident that by season 8, people did not like those episodes.
Oh, well, I did.
The final season? That everyone hated with a passion.
I hated the last 2 episodes.
Okay.
It was season 3 that you first saw the dragon, because Tyrion was on the boat, and it goes like that, doesn't it? It flies up. That's the first time you actually see the dragon properly. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Season 6 and 7, major dragons.
Yeah.
Season 8.
What I'm saying is, we're here for dragons. We got to see dragons do dragon things. That's basically it. But even like the rest of the episodes, like the whole things around like the hunt. I personally disagreed with the whole hunt thing. That the way that you were totally right in that the way he killed the stag was symbolic of something.
Yeah,
I think it's often, I think it could be, as you would say, allegorical and is a representation of things that we see in the world. I genuinely think it's like, they basically, all of them have caught that stag, given him a weapon and gone, here, shoot the fish in the proverbial barrel.
You could argue you could look at the stag as being either Rhaenyra or Daemon, and obviously each stab at the 2 people in his family closest to him that everyone around him are trying to get him to effectively turn his back on throughout up to that point.
Yeah.
Because, they're constantly going at him about making his son heir, which is then stabbing Rhaenyra. And obviously they've all been talking to him about distance himself from Daemon and not making Daemon the heir and things like that, and that's stabbing Daemon. So you could actually see the whole thing as like you said before, taking this beast, this innocent natural creature, and something that could be good, and he's just kind of stabbing away at it.
Yeah.
See, when I saw that, I started thinking that he was going to have visions of his wife being held down and stabbed and opened up, but the innocence being pinned down, and trapped, and I thought he was going to have when he went to do the second stab, because they had to open her up, and then there was more to it, wasn't there? I thought it was going to.
That's a good take, actually. Yeah,
I thought he was going to have, but then, generally I just came away with he's just again in another position he doesn't want to be in, forced to do something he doesn't want to do, but having to do it because it's tradition.
Yeah.
I think the other thing as well is, like you said, is that the character is so wonderfully acted, and I think in this you see Paddy just absolutely carrying in his scenes. He was carrying it massively, but also his character is, you're seeing he was saying, I'm not getting rid of you to Rhaenyra. He's like, you're staying on the throne, you are my heir. And and I think it was like you said, it's like your word is, I live by your word is your bond type thing. But it's also can be a detriment, because of either those influences or the factor has changed, because he made her heir thinking, I may never get a son. Let's be real, that's why he did that. I mean, he probably did look at her and say, you are capable. And he did that as a means to treasure his dead wife's memory. Maybe it's absolution for him, whatever it may be. But it's like, then he got the son. And it's like he's having to hold to his word, even though everybody else is now saying, So I think that it shows more to his character, because before we were saying he doesn't seem to be willing to act. And that's how a lot of him is shown. He's not willing to act. He'll just sit there and just say, I'll wait this out. And finally we're seeing him act and say, no, I'm staying true to my word. So it's like you're almost seeing him now start to be a king that people expect him to be. Even if they don't like how he's going about doing it.
Right, which brings us back to, introduced last episode, the idea of Daemon's moral compass. Has that moved or switched at all in this episode?
Nah, same.
No, I think Daemon's slap bang in the middle at the moment. That was very...
I'll say, are you still on a 6? Despite
I'm leaving on a 6.
Beat somebody for death for handing him some paper?
No, he's just angry. I'll leave him on a 6.
You were on a 6.
Everybody shoots the messenger. It's a common that
but you're right about that. That's literally the phrase, isn't it? Shoot the messenger.
But let's face it, it's like, I mean, like I said, the only bit is that you don't truly understand why he went when he did what he just did, the Hail Mary. Could that be, I wouldn't call that morally grey. I'd say that's like him just saying, fuck you. Like, you're not...
You'd be angry if you got your Amazon parcel delivery 3 years later, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd be like, if you got your note...
Dude, you don't want to start with me and my stories about Amazon deliveries.
Well, move on.
That's the reason I have 40 kilos of cat litter in my flat. I'll tell you offline. I'll tell you the story offline.
I think it's justified. Yeah, stays on a 6. Yeah.
And for the Death Note, so again we had Cole, we had Otto, and then last episode you added to that obviously Viserys. And Corlys was added to it. So any more or any changes?
The only change I'm going to make is, now that I know Corlys has got a family, well, him, his brother, and his son.
He's got a son, and he's also got obviously his wife as well. Which
I'm going to say all of them.
Oh, the whole of the Balerion.
That whole lot's going on there, yeah.
Oh.
The reason why I say this is because I am using the future and the fact that you hear about Valerian Steel, Valerian this, but you never see any of them. And I think they're...
Are you getting the name confused?
No.
Valerian Steel?
Yeah, but this is... They're Valerian, aren't they?
Yeah, it's Corlys Valerian.
From Valeria.
Oh, so, right.
You never see them in the future, and I think they're...
They talk about Valerian Steel a lot, but it's not as if you see House Valerian.
Or where it's come from. So I think this lineage dies out somewhere during the course of this show. So I'm putting them on notice for the entire season.
Yeah,
like the entire, thing.
By the end of the series.
They're done, yeah. They're gone, yeah.
Tit's using a little bit more of his brain. I was like sitting there thinking, fuck, I didn't even consider that.
There's a lot of things you didn't consider.
Clearly.
Like 40 ounces of cat litter. That's...
Look, like I said, that's Amazon, not me. Well.
But I mean, in any case, that's what I'm going with there. The other thing I find fascinating is Game of Thrones spent the entire show trying to get a woman on the throne, and you weren't too sure if she was going to get it or if it was going to be Jon or whatever. That was the premise of that show. This show, you start the show with a woman on the throne, and it's about getting her off it, or if she's going to stay on it. And I find that interesting because it's like, no, but she's essentially, the idea is that you know who the queen is, as opposed to, I find it interesting that like now we're going to watch how she deals with staying on it, or whatever the case. So it's almost like the tables are turned slightly. So I'm kind of interested to see where that goes. But and the other thing is, I just love all these houses where their sigil just very clear. Like every house is very clearly defined.
Yeah,
it's very like oldie worldy. So it's pretty cool.
Cool. Any final thoughts?
Next.
Okay. Catch us next time.